Hello, this is John Speelman with the video version of my latest column, number 213, which will come out on Sunday, March the 3rd. It's Friday the 1st at the moment while I'm doing this, and I've called it, I don't know, it's a pretty awful pun, Charge of the Chestnuts. So it's about charge in games of chess, people saying charge, and the chestnuts are old chestnuts, which are sort of things that you've seen before, old well-known games and things. So what I started off by saying is that a fortnight ago I showed a game by this ferocious Chinese girl, Lu Miaoyi, and later when I looked on YouTube I found that a Croatian guy who goes under the name of Agony, had likened her play to that of Rashid Nezhmetdinov, which is an incredible compliment for any chess player. It means that you're an absolute hacker of the first water, and she is. And so then I started thinking about lists of best hackers, best attacking players, and I had a little look around the net and found some other people's lists, and then I started thinking about whether I should make my own list and some nice attacking games. So I'm going to ask ChessBase, I don't know if we'll have comments at the bottom of this column or we'll have some other way, but you can send in your lists of top 5 or top 10, whatever you like, attacking players if you like, which I might collate at some point, and any suggestions as to favourite Hackety games. And I talked about who I thought should be somewhere at the top of a list of 10 best hackers, 10 best attacking players. So I had Adolf Anderson and Paul Morphy from the 19th century. Of course, Morphy was more than that, but he was a great attacking player. Alexander Alekhine, Paul Keres, that's 4. Who else did I have? Nezhmetdinov and Tal, of course. And as people may know, Nezhmetdinov actually had a plus score against Tal, and that's partly, at least to some extent, because he had more whites against Tal than Tal had whites against him. And those two, when they locked horns, being white was a good thing. And that's 6 of them. Oh, and Kasparov, of course. Obviously, Garry Kasparov comes in there. Then there are lots and lots of other people who could be on a list. There's Viswanathan Anand, is a great attacking player when he's attacking. So's Magnus Carlsen, actually, but I didn't put Magnus in because he's so much more a universal player and an endgame player. And actually, Vladimir Kramnik, famous for endings, when he gets his fist up and punches, he's quite something, as, I mean, for that matter, is Artur Yusupov, those fantastic games against Ivanchuk in the candidates final, where he went all in. I didn't mention that there, actually. And I mentioned a few others. I said, Leonid Stein, Alexei Shirov, Hikaru Nakamura, and Nadirbek Abisaturov, Alireza Firouzja. Oh, I've got an X. Alireza. I use dictation software nowadays when possible, but for names it's pretty crap, of course, and so I have to put those in by hand or try to train the bloody thing to understand my mispronunciation of these names, which it's not very good at doing actually yet. And the frequently ridiculously hackety Para Magsudlu, who's unbelievably hackety, especially, for instance, in Vaiki was. And then I've got Wei Yi, who I've added because I had one of his games. So basically I've got all these bods. You're very welcome to add other bods. I saw a list with Ossip Bernstein, whom I know nothing about, really. Just that he was a player sometime, I don't know even when he was precisely. I presume sometime in the early 20th century. And, other people, Frank Marshall, lots of people who were great attacking players, but whether they quite come into this category. And I said my criterion was basically that they have at least some games in which they just started and then they carried on, and material meant absolutely nothing to them while they were attacking. All that mattered was the momentum of the attack. I didn't actually use that word. I said, in any case, my criterion is that at least on occasion these players will more or less totally disregard material in the heat of battle, relying totally on the power of energy. That's how I put it, but I mean, you could put it lots of ways and it would come to the same thing. Right, now we go to chess base. I've actually moved column 213 there. I was just looking at Prague. I don't know if anybody's been watching Prague. Very interesting games, actually. They're playing such ferocious chess that if you watch with an engine, then quite often there are sort of 6-point swings in a move, which is not that normal in Grandmaster games. You know, people normally keep decent control, but, excuse me, sorry, they really have been going for it, which is great to watch. And it's still going on, obviously, as you read this, probably. So I've got 3 games. The first one is Over against Keres. It was actually played in the Netherlands in 1940, so it's an occupied Europe. And I'm going to turn it round and be black, because Keres was black. And it's just a magnificent game. It's a Queen's Indian, and I've probably given a little bit of theory for no particular reason. I don't know why. Somewhere down here I said c5 is more common nowadays. Some very random variations which mean nothing. Okay, they got to this position eventually. Knight e1 is a reasonable move. It says d5, e5. Maybe plus equals, I don't know. It's a position, isn't it? White's got some centre. Black can get some play probably. Okay, so what happened was that f5, knight e1, queen c8, reasonable move, e4, knight d7, and round about here it's getting to the point where it would have been quite a good idea to start thinking about being about equal as white, because okay, e6 is a bit weak, but black's got quite good development. And what happened was overplayed d5, overestimating his chances. Pawn takes pawn, queen takes pawn. Okay, there's a pin, so what? Knight c5, queen e2, bishop f6. So black's at this stage got quite a lead in development. Not a huge one, but his pieces are in decent squares. The bishop on f6 is great. It's winning a tempo or so. White's been slightly messing around with his pieces. Bishop h3, yeah, this is about equal. Bishop f3. Again, if I had my dictation software on, then I could have tried doing that, but that would have completely interfered, of course, with this, as you can imagine. Right, again, overestimating his position. Overestimating, sorry, I've lost an E, haven't I? But it is, isn't it? He's pushing his luck. He's trying to be better. Rook e8, good move. Bishop e3. D takes e6, knight takes e6, slight advantage to black. By now, I mean, he's asking for it, isn't he? He's really asking for it a bit. And probably it's still defensible, but yeah, got to be careful by now. I'm not sure if knight d4 isn't a threat at this moment. It's certainly close to a threat. And then knight e2 check and just have the 2 bishops. And yeah, you'd have a big advantage if you could play that. Okay, anyway. What happened was he went bishop e3, thinking about bishop takes c5, and now queen d8 is slammed. I'm pending to prepare his next move. Bishop takes c5, makes sense. And apparently the engine still isn't that upset about this, actually. Takes, of course. Bishop e6 check, king back. rook d1. If you move the bishop, then the pin is going to recapture the piece. Well, you don't even have a decent square to go to, do you? You're pinned all over the place. So, not a nice position. He went rook to there. Pawn takes bishop. Knight to there. What White's idea is to try to get a blockade on the white squares. Maybe even a white square attack on a very good day. f4 question mark. Rook fe1. Bishop c8 here. Take, here, here. King f1. And actually this is not too terrible. One thing that's important is if you go d3, b3, bishop c3, the knight covers e1, so that doesn't work at all. Because otherwise that would be pretty annoying, I think, or at least it would be a little bit worrying if the pawn got to the 7th rank. Anyway, he went f4, which is a mistake. He's trying to support the bishop and play knight f4 and get some sort of attack. Now, actually, well, you can't see the screen from here, the rest of the screen, and so why don't you try to work out what black played now? Keres just played a beautiful idea, which, effectively completely refuted this. And let's see if you can find it. So what he did, he looked at this position. White's threatening to get a decent position, but he went d3. Got to take it, and he took this as well. And went check. So queen takes bishop would be pretty hopeless. I mean, you could do it, but you'd lose the exchange down to Keres without much fight. If you go king h1, then rook takes e6. And black's plan is simply to double rooks on the e-file and to play rook e2. And there isn't time to defend. There's no sensible way to defend at all. It is horrific, actually. So he went rook f2, rook takes, king to there, and just rook doubles. One nice thing about really good attacking players is that they just play good moves. The fact that they're a little bit of material down, perhaps. Okay, you're two bishops. Actually, you've got rook and bishop for a queen here, haven't you? You don't rush, you just play the moves you want to play. Certainly you don't want to take that rook on f2 and play some position, but you are threatening now to take and to play rook e2 check. So he went f5 in fact, and then he went f6. I think I overgave some other lines. Rook d2, bishop e4, queen to there, bishop to there, threatening bishop h3 and mate, queen to there, bishop to there, rook to there. g5 exclam, which is winning. You smashed it open. And there's no defence. I mean, you just can't defend positions like this. Look at it. It's horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Rook c1, I guess you probably go rook e2, do you? Or do you take first queen h5? Does that matter? Maybe that matters. If it matters, so rook c1. I'm imagining that I just go rook e2, because pawn takes pawn, queen h5 perturbs me. Unless, can I? No, I can go pawn takes pawn, queen h5, and now rook e2. That's unkind, isn't it? Queen takes bishop. Nothing better. Check. And wins. Easily. I could check that, but I don't think I'll even check that with an engine. It was just nice to take the pawn first before playing rook e2 or whatever. So he went f5 and he actually went f6. And somebody, I don't know who it was, gave an annotation. They went bishop takes rook. I mean, maybe you can play f7 there as well, but bishop takes rook, queen takes. Just a stupid annotation. Just ridiculous. I mean, why would you even consider that? So of course he doesn't take it. He just captures. So now if rook takes pawn, bishop takes g2 check, then you do cash in, and rook checks, and bishop takes rook. And you've got two rooks and a bishop for the queen, and Keres would have won that in 5 minutes. No problem at all. White doesn't even have a check. So he's blocked the file, but it's not really helping. Sorry, yes, I gave that move too quickly. Now actually, black played a very good move. He realised his bishop wasn't working on b7, so he went to c8, which is beautiful. Just repositioning it. It's lovely. So knight f4, you can't allow bishop h3, obviously, or you're going to lose like a baby. And now he goes in. He goes check. So I said one of the rules of attack is that if your opponent has a good defensive piece, you try to annihilate it. So in this position, if the knight could get to d5 or somewhere, white would have a position, so he takes it. Black has got to take that or his material down. Check. And he went king f3. If he goes king f1, rook g1 just wins the queen. So king f3, bishop g4 check, and he resigned, of course, because if king e3, bishop f5 check, or g2, doesn't matter, or if king e4 check, king d5 check, queen to there, bishop takes queen, mate. So an absolutely beautiful attacking games with two glorious raking bishops. I suppose Keres didn't sacrifice that much, but it's the transformation of material into energy is beautiful. So my next game is one of Nezhmetdinov. Since I name-checked him at the start of the column, I thought I'd have one of his games. The most famous, actually, is his game with Polugaevsky at Big King Hunt, but I like this more. There are so many quiet moves. I've given it here before. Not sure if I have given the previous one, actually, in this columns. Okay, they play some, what's it called, Accelerated Dragon. And here, he took it. So the question is this a surprising move, or is it completely normal? You see, I think it's completely normal. And I know I'd play queen takes bishop because I love giving up my queen for two minor pieces and some enormous attack. And I've done it a couple of other times. I won against Andrew Martin once, and I did lose to Julius Sachs once, when I sort of had to sacrifice the queen for two bishops, or bishop and a knight stomping around. But Julia played really well. That was at Skara 1980 European Team Championship. Anyway, queen takes, 92 check exclam, you've got to deflect the knight, he gains a tempo, and he just goes back again. So you look at this position, white has got a bishop and knight for the queen, no pawns at the moment, the two bishops, much the better pawn structure, and f6 is, of course, if the pawn was not on f6, it wouldn't be sound this, if you could play e6 and keep up the knight, but it's a completely different position. So I thought, rook e8 was played, I thought I'd probably play d5 myself, and bishop e6, and there's a line that goes like this. Hitting these guys to there, defending. I think the ending should be presumably be better for white if you play queen takes bishop. Queen takes bishop, rook f3, takes, and white must be better. I'm unsure how much. And there's this ending here. And now white can take a draw by going rook to the 8th check to the 7th if he wants to. And actually my engine quite likes white after this, even though I'm not sure. I suppose I'd probably try it as white. I wouldn't think I was putting myself into too much danger by trying to win this position, because probably you can still give perpetual check or something. Anyway, that's one line with d5, and the other one is d6 as a move, and there's a variation that goes like this again. Wants to go c3 now, I think. I suppose now there isn't a rook d8 type of thing to attack the bishop. And actually it gives this as a draw, which seems fairly plausible. I don't know. I mean, it's not obvious to me that you can't run with the king, but white's got a good long-term attack, and the bishop is wonderful in d4, and I don't know. None of it's obvious to me. It's just positions you can play. He actually did this. And now I love the way Nezhmetdinov just develops his pieces. I mean, it wasn't clear to me whether it should be going to d1 or to e1. I think perhaps he wants to stop queen d2. He wants to get to here. Why is it better? I suppose otherwise there might be queen d2 at some moment. Don't know if it mattered. Bishop c3, that's to give the rook a square, is it? No, it's to drive the queen back. He takes. Black goes there. If he takes, I think there must be a knight h7. No, there's knight g4 check. Sorry. And is that that's very devastating, isn't it? Because you've got bishop takes e6 as well. So lots of awful things are happening. If you go king g8, bishop takes rook, pawn takes bishop, knight h6 is mate. So that's really grim. Here, take. Yeah, so he went bishop e2. Knight takes h7 check. Lovely move. Can't take the knight, of course. Has to go back. King h7. Oh no, sorry, you can, because rook h3 check. There's bishop h5 check here. Takes the rook. Takes this. Check here. And this just wins. There are other lines probably as well. King g8, and he just goes rook h3, teeing up to play knight g5. Guy plays rook e5 to block the diagonal, desperately trying to give up a rook for a bishop. Not in this life or the next would Nezhmetdinov take a rook for that bishop. f4. Bishop takes rook. There are some other moves. Queen b6 check, rook f2, bishop g4. Takes. Queen checks. And wins. I mean, there are lots of other lines, but what happened was takes. And now, apparently, knight g5 just wins here, in fact. Should be enough. I suppose king takes, knight takes, rook takes, and you should have a winning advantage. That's a little tedious, perhaps. King takes f1 is a great quietish move, recapturing a piece. It's the way that he keeps on playing chess as though he went nothing down at all, when he's actually at the moment three pieces for queen and rook down at the moment. Rook to there. And now one of the star moves of the game. Do you want to let him take your beautiful bishop? Of course you don't. Why would you want to allow him to play rook takes bishop? So you just move it. Why wouldn't you? b5, trying to block. Rook c5, knight g5, queen f6, takes here. Here. It's also gentle, to gently murder. With a totally winning position. Rook takes rook, knight takes rook, and then you get to play pawn takes pawn with check and e5 and e6 and d6. Well, anyway, you'll win. Bishop d4 is another lovely move. Here, knight to there, rook c7. I don't know how rook c4 was. What happened to rook c4? Oh, you can take and you can play rook h8 check, can't you, of course. So, yeah, if rook c4, you can go take, 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 check. Right. It's another variation. And now he does play this combination, reminiscent of the game Petrosian Spassky World Championship game. And he resigned. So an absolutely brilliant attack. And as I said, the thing I like most of all is all the quiet moves in the attack, so-called quiet moves. I mean, moves that just improve pieces, stop them from giving up their vulgar rooks for your magnificent clerics, that sort of thing. It's just fantastic. And the last one, I wanted to have one. I thought of course, there are a million Kasparov games. People can write in and suggest Kasparov games to use at some future date. But I got Wei Yi against Bruzon. And as I said, I actually was watching this game live, quite strangely, serendipitously. And I thought, oh, it's going to be a draw, what a shame. But it wasn't. Okay, so there are notes by Sagar Shah, which I nicked off ChessBase, and I removed most of my original notes, and put some new ones in. We got to a Scheveningen now, rather than a Taimanov, which it will look like a few moves earlier. It was a Taimanov. Okay. Obviously to stop b4. Rook d7 is a common move. Apparently rook e8 is the most common move. Now queen d8, queen h3. Now apparently 8.5 years ago, Sagar Shah's engine wanted to play h6, and I have to say that Stockfish absolutely doesn't want to play h6. It's not on its list at all. It wants to play rook e8, I think, first. Anyway, he played g6, f5, e5, bishop to here, and now rook to there, which turned out to be a bit dubious. You should probably wait for bishop h6 before moving the rook. Takes, knight d5. Now you should go bishop d5 and the game continues. White's better, but it's a position. It's a game. But he played knight takes knight. And of course now the idea is to let rip. And the question is, do we believe this? First pawn takes knight, bishop g5 defends everything. The rook defends laterally. It's all a great shame. So we know what White's going to play. He's going to play rook h7. If now knight f6, queen e6, king h8, bishop h6 just wins, I think. So you really have to... Is that true? No, bishop g5, sorry. Okay. So he has to take it. Check. King to there. So there are a couple of other moves. First, king f8, bishop h6 mate is not interesting. King f6, you shouldn't play, in fact, rook checks. You just take the knight, which is not that difficult either. e4, check here, takes, check, mate. Actually, this is not. That's not very hard either, actually, looking at it, though. Okay, so we went king e6. So now, the king's threatening to run away to c6 to c7 to safety and glory. So you've really only got one move. Though, I mean, okay, you just have to do it. Once you've started attacking, a proper attack, you just have to play the moves and hope to heavens that they work. So White goes bishop e4 check, stopping the king from running. I assume king c4, there's something... I don't know if you can cover the squares before you go b3, or you can probably you can go queen f7 and queen c1 mate, actually, can't you? So what a surprise. So he takes it. He's got 2. King e6 also gets pretty splatted. Yeah, that's quite enough. So bishop e4 check, king takes bishop, of course. Now, apparently, the best move now is c4, which in engine sees we don't. The idea is to give white the c4 square. So the main line goes, so if rook g8, you play queen h3 threatening mate, and that just wins apparently. That makes sense. And if king d3, we go there, check here. King c2, we go queen takes bishop with check. We can try that as well, actually. King c2, queen takes bishop with check. King to here, I suppose we better not. And this is bound to lead to mate in a minute, isn't it? Though I haven't quite proved it yet. King's trying to hide on b1 or somewhere. I'm not very good at this, actually. I start to get confused when it gets this messy. But I think I can go check. Now, if king a4, I've just worked out I have queen to there, check. King to there, pawn to there, mate. So he's got to go here. And now probably the gloriously quiet move b4, followed by rook checks and mate. So that certainly works. I mean, what a surprise. Anyway, of course he takes it. No, sorry. So after c4, pawn takes pawn is sort of the main line. Check here, mate. That's the point of playing c4. Very clever. But it's not a move. It's very hard to be sure that you've still got control after that move, and you can see why you wouldn't want to get involved. I mean, you could also go c4 take. You can also go king d3 check e4 as well. And then I think probably, what do we do? How do we do this? I'm still not quite sure. I mean, I can see it's a huge attack. I guess queen g4 is going to mate, isn't it? Yeah, I suppose so. But it's difficult. I'm confused now. You know, there are too many different checks. It's all getting a bit messy. Let me ask its majesty. I've got confused. I think I've taken queen g4. There might be king takes c4. There's probably mated about 3 or something. Queen h5. And now king takes this. Then we can just give check, can't we? And then that's that. So queen h5. Okay. Thank you, your majesty. Right. But queen f7 was played, of course, threatening mate. Bishop to there. Bishop checks. He did this a couple of times, then he went queen b3. Nice move, threatening mate. King f5. Rook checks here. And now there is c4, but it doesn't work because you can go bishop g2 check and queen e8 check, and you have squares for the queen. So queen d3. And that threatens, I don't know, queen g6 check and h3 check and some sort of disaster for black. Rook g7, let's do this. Here, h3. Now we're threatening queen checks and queen f3 check, and it's just, you're just not going to get away with this, are you? If e4, I can play rook takes bishop actually, can't I? And then that's going to lead to mate. It's all going to lead to mate. It's suggest queen f5, d5. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, that's actually mate next move, isn't it? Did mate next move? Yeah, I think it is. Or is there king g5? Then I have to go. How do I mate after king g5? Can't see it at the moment. King g5. not seeing an immediate mate. Oh, show me a great one. I mean, okay, I can go. Look, I can go. Just rook takes bishop, can't I? Rook takes bishop, g5, queen e2 check, g4, rook h6 mate or something. Just go rook takes bishop. There's no need to be clever. A new main line. Or is rook e5 then? Is that starting to defend? Oh God. No, it's not, is it? Queen checks and rook rook f8 check will do. Okay, I mean, it's just, as I said, I do find it difficult when there are so many checks. My analytical functions stop working so well. Here, queen checks, king to there, bishop to there, trying to defend, check here, and now the excellent move, bishop e1, threatening rook f3 check and some sort of horror. Well, mate in 2 actually, and now bishop f4, you have queen a7 check, king h1. Yeah, that's one, and bishop e1. Nice. So there we are. It's a very, very beautiful 21st century attacking game. Probably the game of the century so far, I would say. So, I hope you've enjoyed these glorious attacking games, and I will set up some mechanism for you to record what your lists are, what requests you've got, and then I'll see you in a fortnight, which presumably will be the 17th of March. That seems highly plausible, doesn't it? I'll be playing at the 4NCL that day, actually. Okay, right, I'm off then. Let's see, I have been recording. Oh, yes, I have. Good. Bye.